What's going on, everybody? Good late evening, and we have reached the end of free agency frenzy week. It has been a crazy 5 days of players moving from one team to another team, been a crazy 5 days of money getting thrown around, contracts getting thrown around, the league being completely shaken up. And now things are going to start to ease into a much slower and more peaceful stage. We're not going to be seeing nearly as much action going forward. In fact, honestly, over the last 3 days, you've kind of seen it ease to a halt where the first 2 days went nuts, actually more nuts than most free agency periods. Things were happening very quickly those first 2 days. And Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, things slowly hit the brakes, and honestly, Friday was really slow. The Seahawks did basically nothing. The only thing that really happened to the Seahawks that felt relevant was something that didn't even happen to our team. Aaron Donald retired, right? If you're a Seahawks fan, that was the big news for today, and that's not even on our team. So it was just one of those days where the team chilled out, took it easy. They didn't even do anything in the evening. Usually I'm used to the team doing something after I turn the stream off at the end of the day. But today we're sitting here looking at it, and no, they didn't do anything then either. So it's been a very chill free agency day to wrap things up. But I do want to say, before I continue on, it's been a great week. It's been an awesome week. Streamed for close to 40 combined hours over that 5 day period. And we got to track a vast majority of the big moves being made across the NFL. We got to talk about it live. We got to dissect things live. We talked about so many different things. Obviously, the Seahawks were not the most active team in free agency, but they ended up doing a pretty good amount. They ended up doing quite a bit, and we were able to break it all down live. So I do want to say thank you to everybody who participated in my stream over the last 5 days. Thank you to anybody who watched videos that I made over the last 5 days from the stream. And it was great. The streams went great. Hundreds of people in there. A couple times we broke 1,000. And it's definitely something I'm going to be looking forward to doing in the future for future free agency weeks. So next year we will probably do it again. And it's really the only time when I go crazy like this. It's exhausting, but you get a lot out of it. You really build your audience. We crushed the sub goal for the whole month already. We crushed the members goal. We set a new record for members on the channel by far with 165. It was great. People were very supportive. People liked streams. People donated in multiple different ways. It was awesome. So I want to say thank you to anybody who showed up to help out the streams. So with all that being said, now that we're at the end of the week, I do want to kind of reevaluate the salary cap stuff. And I know I did this in the video early this morning, and nothing's really changed. But some people have pointed out that when I did the video early this morning, I didn't include Tyrell Dodson. So I'm gonna take another shot at this salary cap projection thing, and I'm gonna try to incorporate Dodson. So if you go to the Spotrac page, you can see that they have our estimated cap space now at 29.3 million. And the reason why it went down is because they accounted for Pharaoh Brown's cap hit. They gave Pharaoh Brown the old 3.2, so he is now listed. However, he's been replaced, his spot has been taken by Tyrell Dodson. So you scroll down to the bottom of the list here, it's the same number of players, just one guy got swapped out with another guy. So we need to figure out what the cap hits are going to be in 2024 for these 6 guys now. Artie Burns, already did him, probably Vetmin, maybe Vetmin plus. Noah Fant, I estimated 7 million. George Fant, I estimated 5 million. Nick Harris, this cap hit's already known actually, it's 2.51. And Rayshon Jenkins, I estimated 4. So we account for all that, and then we're just left with Tyrell Dodson. And the problem with Tyrell is, as of the recording of this video, the team and the league and beat writers and reporters have given us no clue whatsoever what this contract might look like. So we don't even know where to start. We don't have a length. We don't have an amount. We don't have a signing bonus. We've got nothing to work with here. So anything I do from here on out is a guess. Keep that in mind. With that being said, we can go to Spotrac and look at their market value projection for Tyrel Dodson and see that they estimated he was going to get 3 years for $14.7 million a year, which averages out to about $4.8 million per year. Now, is this the contract we gave him? Almost certainly not. But this is the only number we really have to work with, right? Anything else would be a complete guess. At least this is a guess from a formula that has proven to be fairly accurate in the past. So if we assume that the contract is about 3 years, 15 million, which by the way, that would be a dream for me. I would love to give Dodson a 3-year deal and get that first year cap hit down low. All we then need to figure out is what might that last year cap hit or first year cap hit be? Well, this contract would be very similar in size and length to the contract Will Dissly got with the Los Angeles Chargers. So we could look at that contract and probably estimate it from there, and that's the best we can do. So if you look at the Will Dissly contract, 3 years, 14 million, his first year cap hit was 2.63 million approximately. So therefore, if you're looking at Tyrel Dodson's contract that is going to be very similar, 3 years, 14.7 million, then you would probably just look at that cap hit and go, okay, let's extrapolate. So 2.8. So let's say the cap hit for Tyrel Dodson in year 1 is 2.8 million. And that's, by the way, a dream scenario as far as I'm concerned. So if you incorporate that into the calculation, and you go over to this calculator, and we punch all those numbers in, we get our current cap space. $6.8 million, approximately. 6.8. Now, again, as should be very obvious, that's not going to cut it. Our current draft pool for cap is about 8.4 million. 8.4 million, which is more than 6.8. And again, if you're including 3 million for practice squad and you're including 3 million for injury buffer / trade buffer, you add another 6 million onto that. So let's take all those numbers. Let's take the 6.8 million we started with, and let's go minus 8.4 minus 6. You come out to almost 8 million in the red, 7.6 million in the red. And that's with that Tyrel Dodson first year cap hit being low because it's a 3-year deal, which deep down, I think we all kind of suspect that Dodson might not have gotten a 3-year deal since we generally haven't gone long-term with most of these players. And I don't know if it's even a good idea for us to give a 3-year deal to somebody who's a 1-year wonder. But let's say it is. Let's just say it is for fun for the moment. All right? So 7.6 million in the red. How do we get back to the black from here? Because this is with us doing nothing else at all in free agency. Well, again, I'm going to go back to that old juicy nugget of cutting the bottom of the roster. Because most of these guys are not going to make the team. And if you actually look, you'll see that currently Spotrac is giving us 57 players under contract. We can only have 53. And then we have 7 players who are going to get drafted who will probably make the team, which means a bunch of these guys at the bottom of the list here who are making no bonus money at all, who will be basically free to cut, are not going to make the actual roster. I'd say all these guys making $795,000, some of the guys making $915,000, just assume they're not going to make the team. So if you cut all these guys, Levi Bell, Lance Boykin, Latrell Bumpus, Matt Gotel, Brian Koback, Jonathan Sutherland, Andrew Whitaker, and let's say Aesop Winston, Cody White, and Drake Thomas. And let's say that everybody above them ends up making the cut, although I don't think all of them will. Like Tyler Mabry probably finds his way to the practice squad after he gets cut like he does pretty much every year. But let's say it's just 10 guys that get pushed off, just to play it safe here. So that calculation becomes, let's jump on over to the calculator here, negative 7.6 million plus 795,000 times 7 plus 950,000 times 3 to account for the 10 players making very small salaries that you're cutting, 700,000. We made it back to the black by $700,000. not even enough to handle a single minimum salary for a 1 year UDFA. So, yeah, you can see that we got there, but if this is the case, we have no room to do anything else. We are done this offseason. So, if that's where we stop, we're not going to be able to do anything else. So if you were wondering how much cap space the Seahawks have, hopefully this video was able to get you to the answer that you were seeking. Maybe not the answer you wanted, but the answer you were seeking. If I account for everything, we're sitting at about $700,000 in the black. Now, what I think is going to happen is that you're going to see a guy like, for instance, John Radigan get released and replaced with a player making significantly less. The player we replace him with might be John Radigan. He might end up making minimum, or maybe he'll even end up on the practice squad, and we'll bring in another player who makes a lot less money. So you remove Radigan's 2.985 and replace him with, say, a $1 million cap hit player. Now you're talking an additional $2 million in savings approximately. So you went from 700,000 to 2.7 million. Now you have a little bit of room to do stuff. Not a lot, but maybe enough to bring in one more player. Like maybe you could bring in Jerome Baker on a 3-year deal where the first-year cap hit is low. And if it's not enough to do what you need to do, there are a few more options at your disposal. You could restructure Michael Dixon to create about $700,000 extra, and that might get you to the finish line to make that last move. At that point, if you still need more money, you're probably going to have to start doing things that are uncomfortable. Like, for instance, DK Metcalf. You can extend him or restructure him. You can restructure or extend Geno Smith. You can extend Julian Love. The bigger item things. So, yeah, if you watch this video, you should have a pretty good understanding of where we probably sit in terms of cap space. And it should be pretty easy to adjust these numbers for whenever we get the Tyrell Dodson details. And by the way, let me say one more thing. If you really, really want to, you can always add a void year onto some random player's contract. You can add a void year to Geno, add a void year to Metcalf, add a void year to Lockett. So there's always a way to create more money if you really want to. I don't know if this team is going to want to, but it is a possibility. So that is where we sit going into the first weekend of free agency. I think that if you do the math and you project things out properly, there's just enough money for us to sign one more half-decent linebacker, even if it's somebody just like Denzel Perryman, even if it's somebody just like Oren Burks, you can make it work. Even Jerome Baker you could make work if you make it a 3-year or 4-year deal. So we'll see what the team ends up wanting to do. We'll see if the team decides to get creative in some maybe other way. Like maybe they're going to release Stone Forsythe now because they have George Fant and they like Fant so much more than Forsythe. That's not something I would see coming, but I guess it's on the table. Maybe we release a guy like a Derek Young because we decide we like D. Eskridge better. Or maybe we decide, you know what, Eskridge, I know we restructured you a couple weeks ago, but we changed our minds. Beat it. Maybe it's something else. There's plenty of things that can be done to tweak it, but the way I see it, that's where we sit. So, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think down below. I did the best that I could to calculate things out, and I tried to go step by step so everybody understood exactly where the numbers came from. But at the end of the day, we need more information before I can confirm anything. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. You can come catch me on Twitch. I'm probably streaming over there right now. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow with more videos, although probably going to take it a little easier this weekend because it's been a heck of a week.